Well, number one, we debated making this like the opening topic of the show.
And we should have.
Because for Bennett, this was a monumental occurrence yesterday. The death of Ozzy Osbourne, the Prince of Darkness, 76 years old. He'd been struggling with Parkinson's for a while. He'd been sick for a while. He had a lot of other issues through the years. But how do you describe Ozzy Osbourne? Like one of the fathers of heavy metal, or fathers of what?
Well, I would say that most people, I mean, I think what did it say on here? The pioneer of heavy metal. I mean, Black Sabbath is widely considered the band that started heavy metal, right? I think it's debatable. People can debate that. There are other, groups that had a heavier sound around the same time, but I think it's pretty fair to say that he's the pioneer of heavy metal. Ozzy and Black Sabbath, yes.
So I know, and just around the 4th of July, he had like a retirement concert, basically.
Yeah, it was great. It was called Back to the Beginning. I ordered it. It was like you could order the live. Yeah, it was like $35. It was a live stream. It was all day. It was great. I'm sure people have seen the clips of it. It was so much better than I thought it was going to be. I was scared that I was going to watch this guy that I've idolized my whole life just go up there and frankly look terrible performing these songs. And he was great. Like, he's sitting in a chair because
it was like a throne, right? Like
he was sitting in a throne. Like because he wasn't going to be able to stand up and perform the songs, but his voice still sounded good. I thought it was awesome.
I saw the clip of him singing "Mama, I'm Coming Home."
It was amazing. And people in the crowd crying. Yes, it was amazing. The cool thing about that was all the bands that performed. It was an all-day festival leading up to Ozzy and Black Sabbath performing. Like, Ozzy did some songs, some of his solo songs, and then Black Sabbath performed after that, and it was incredible. Like, seeing that original group together. It's
amazing they were all still alive. Like, but for being a metal, a hard rock band from the 70s, considering that all the stuff they probably did, and we know some of the stuff they did, that they were all still around, this in the 2020s is pretty incredible.
Yeah. It was cool seeing them all together in that concert, just because Black Sabbath released an album, I guess it was like, it might have been like 2013, 2014. It's been a while at this point. It was the last album they released, but Bill Ward wasn't a part of it, the drummer. And so it was cool seeing him join them and perform together at that last concert. And then all the bands that performed, leading up to it, like Metallica and Slayer and God, who else was on it? Tool was on it. No.
I thought Dave Grohl was there.
No, it was like Alice in Chains. Steven Tyler performed with Tom Morello. That was like one of the best performances. But they all covered a Black Sabbath song or an Ozzy song at the end of their set. And so that was pretty cool seeing other bands pay tribute and whatnot. It was a really great concert.
After that event, I'm not a metal guy, I never have been. But after that event, I got curious about it, and I spent about a day on a deep dive on the internet reading about Black Sabbath and Ozzy Osbourne. I mean, the weird thing about Ozzy was, besides he had this career as the father of metal, which is why you liked him, because that's the music you like and all that. But then, like in the 2000s, 90s, the Osbournes TV show on MTV.
That was massive.
He's also one of the fathers of reality TV.
That show was huge.
Because that introduced him to a whole different audience. People who didn't know anything about him. You see this guy who's the Prince of Darkness wandering around the house looking for burritos and with little dogs nipping around. It made his wife a star too, and his kids. Like, it made
really did
the whole thing a star. I didn't know that. So what I read about Black Sabbath, you can tell me if I'm right or wrong. They were a rock band in England from Birmingham, and they couldn't kind of break through. They didn't know what their thing was.
Yeah, they were called Earth.
That was their original name. And they saw a bunch of people in line at a horror movie called Black Sabbath, and they were like, "Oh, this should be our gimmick." So they wrote a bunch of songs.
Yeah, they were a bunch of hippies, playing music together. Yeah.
So they wrote a bunch of kind of scary, horror-y songs, and that was the first Black Sabbath album, and it was a huge hit, and that was kind of how they went down this road.
Yeah. So, and that's all pretty accurate. And the first album it's not as it gets heavier as it goes, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I can remember, dude. It's crazy. this one hit me so hard yesterday because I seriously think I've listened to his music, whether it be Ozzy or Black Sabbath, more than anybody in my whole life. You know, I can remember getting the Ozman Cometh CD when I was like 10, 11 years old. Yeah. And it was just like a compilation of like some of his big hits. I wore that thing out. And then like as I get older and you know, my teenage years, like I discovered Black Sabbath and just, I mean, it blew my mind. I can remember like the first time I heard Master of Reality and I was like, oh my God, this is the craziest, best thing I've ever heard in my life. But so I wore that one out. I saw him at the Pyramid in 2001. It was the Merry Mayhem tour. It was him and Rob Zombie. And Ozzy came down from the rafters in a Santa sleigh, which was really cool.
He got arrested here in the 80s.
Yeah, he did. We might have the picture. I don't know if I've sent some stuff to Kyra. I don't know if I have it or not. Yeah, it's
wearing a St. Louis Blues jersey.
Yeah, and it's got the Shelby County Jail. Yeah, there it is. That's iconic. I mean, that is just iconic. A cool thing about that photo too. So I got a chance to meet him in 2015.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
Him and Jack, his son, they did a show for the History Channel. It didn't last long, but they went around to different like musical, like historical musical cities, locations in cities all over the country. And they came here. I know they filmed at Sun Studios. I want to say they filmed at Stax. I'm sure they went to Graceland. But they came to Rock and Soul. It didn't make it on like the final cut because this is like a 30-minute show. But it did make it on like, you can find the footage. It was like on the online version. But he came and filmed at Rock and Soul Museum. And shout out to my dad. Like I was like, you have to like. They closed the museum off to show him and Jack around and film, and I was like, I have to meet him. Like you have to bring me up there. And so I got to shake his hand. And he, my friend Ezra, had a picture. That picture, it was like an Ozzy coloring book or something like that. It had that picture, and he got him to sign it. I got him to sign some stuff. And that was like, I'll remember that forever, man. Like I will remember that moment forever. Getting to meet him.
Is the video online? Are you in the video that's online with Ozzy?
No. I'm not in.
Like in the background or something.
Ezra might be because he was like he put like the he let him like put the Isaac Hayes watch on and stuff. it was cool seeing him. You know, he's obviously a big music historian. Ozzy was, and so it was cool seeing him get to see all these
I saw
different Memphis music memorabilia and stuff and look at it all and take it out of the cases and hold it.
I saw a clip
stuff.
online of him meeting Paul McCartney for the first time.
Back in like the 70s, maybe the early 80s. Yeah.
It was like Paul McCartney was his hero, his musical hero, and he gives him a big hug. I mean, I remember as a kid just thinking Ozzy Osbourne bit the head off a bat. Sure. Right? Like that was sort of the lore about Ozzy Osbourne. He was this terrifying guy. He was crazy. He bit the head off a bat. But then you watch the Osbournes and you're like, oh, he's just a dad. You know, he just figured out kind of a way to be in people's consciousness. But he was just a guy. And he was a hero to lots and lots of people.
Yeah, man. I can't believe
including you.
I never thought he'd die. That's one of those dudes that you just you think he's gonna live forever, right? Like think about what he's put his
like Keith Richards.
Body. It's the same. Like what he put himself through over the years. But man, if I would just obviously, I mean, I would recommend anyone if you care to dive into Black Sabbath albums, Ozzy's solo stuff.
You know
Randy
what
Rhoads,
my biggest connection to Black Sabbath and Ozzy is as a Braves fan? Chipper Jones, his walk-up music was Crazy Train.
Oh, yeah.
And so every time when Chipper's coming up to bat, you hear the dun-dun, dun-dun, dun-dun. And like, so as a Braves fan, you hear that little 3 seconds, you're like, oh, it's Chipper. And Chipper never changed his walk-up music for 20 years. You know, like other guys change it week by week, whatever. That was his song for 20-something years. And he tweeted yesterday something about, I can't believe this is, to see Ozzy leave and da-da-da. So like, I think we all have connections. Well, you have connections with different artists in different ways or whatever. But I think Ozzy transcended that for a lot of people. It wasn't just somebody they liked. It was somebody they felt like they knew and was part of their lives. Dude,
if you're looking for like a sports connection, you hear Crazy Train at every freaking game in the country, right? Everybody's heard that song, right? Yeah, man, it was a huge bummer to see that yesterday. Rest in peace to I think one of the music goats, like just a guy who has clearly gotten his flowers and gotten a ton of love over the years, like especially later in life. But I mean, I think he's like
Was Ozzy
I think
Osbourne-
he's one of the all-time greats.
Was
Like
he
for real.
scary
Yeah.
to you when you were a kid?
Hell no. I remember.
I'm looking at your T-shirt and it's got like the devil and horns and crap on it, and it's metal and it's scary, and like I mean, to me, Ozzy and Black Sabbath was a little intimidating, but I don't know.
I just love it.
The Gary Parrish Show, live weekdays at 10 a.m.